Ever wondered how a baby eats and poops in the exact same place for 9 straight months without it turning into a biohazard situation? Because somebody clearly has, since this question has crossed more minds than anyone wants to admit out loud. Sounds like the setup to a bad joke. How does a baby eat and poop in the same stomach? The answer is it doesn't. Not even close. But the reality is honestly weirder and way more impressive than the joke. First, a correction that's going to fix a lot of confused mental images right now. The baby is not chilling inside mom's stomach next to whatever she had for lunch. That would be deeply uncomfortable for everyone involved, especially mom after spicy food. The baby actually grows in the uterus, a completely separate, muscular, expandable organ that functions like its own private apartment, complete with a personal swimming pool called the amniotic fluid. So let's talk about how this incredibly weird, incredibly elegant system actually works. The baby doesn't chew, doesn't swallow solid food, definitely doesn't deal with heartburn, even though mom is dealing with enough of that for both of them. Instead, the baby gets a 24/7, all-you-can-absorb nutrient drip, courtesy of the most overworked organ in the entire pregnancy. The placenta is essentially a highly sophisticated border checkpoint that only lets the good stuff through. Mom's blood flows on one side. Baby's blood flows on the other. They never actually mix, which is itself an extraordinary feat of biological engineering. Nutrients like glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, and oxygen cross over through a thin membrane only a few cell layers thick, while most waste products stay on mom's side for her kidneys and liver to deal with. The umbilical cord is the baby's personal supply line, carrying oxygen-rich, nutrient-rich blood in through one vein and sending oxygen-depleted, waste-carrying blood back out through 2 arteries. It's a one-way delivery system and a return system running side by side in the same cord, which is a level of multitasking most adults cannot achieve before their second coffee. And here's a detail that makes this even more impressive. The placenta isn't just a passive filter. It's metabolically active. It produces hormones like HCG, progesterone, and estrogen that keep the entire pregnancy running, regulate mom's immune system so her body doesn't reject the baby as foreign tissue, and adjusts nutrient transport based on what the baby actually needs at each stage of development. It is doing the combined job of lungs, kidneys, liver, and digestive tract simultaneously for 9 months with 0 days off. So while mom is stressed eating pickles and ice cream at 2 a.m., the baby is receiving a precisely filtered, perfectly balanced meal. No crumbs, no dishes, no arguments about who finished the leftovers. This is where things get genuinely funny and slightly horrifying, depending on how strong your stomach is. Yes, the baby pees. Starting around week 10 to 12 of pregnancy, fetal kidneys begin producing urine, and by the second trimester, that urine becomes the majority of the amniotic fluid surrounding the baby. The baby then swallows some of that same fluid, which gets absorbed through the digestive tract, filtered back through the placenta, and recycled. Mom's body handles the rest through her own kidneys. It is, somehow, a fully functioning closed-loop recycling system operating inside another human being that nobody designed and nobody is maintaining. It just works. Now the pooping. The baby's first real bowel movement is called meconium, and it is genuinely one of the strangest substances in human biology. It's a thick, sticky tar-like material made from swallowed amniotic fluid, lanugo, shed skin cells, intestinal cells, and bile. It's dark green to almost black, and visually, it looks like something out of a horror film. Here's the important part. In a healthy, normal pregnancy, the baby does not pass meconium while still inside the womb. It stays sealed away in the intestines, patiently waiting until afterbirth, usually making its dramatic debut within the first 1 to 3 days of life. Nature, for reasons that make complete sense once you think about it, generally keeps that particular mess on lockdown until delivery day. If meconium does get released early, while the baby is still inside, doctors take it seriously. It's usually a sign of fetal stress, and it can mix into the amniotic fluid and create a real risk of breathing complications if the baby inhales it during birth. So this isn't just a gross fact for the comment section. It's actually a clinical marker doctors watch closely throughout labor. By the time pregnancy ends, the placenta has spent 9 months simultaneously functioning as lungs, kidneys, liver, digestive system, and hormone factory, all while being roughly the size of a dinner plate. When the baby is born, the placenta comes out too, often called the afterbirth, and some people choose to encapsulate and consume it afterward, which is a fascinating rabbit hole of its own that deserves a completely separate video. So here's where we land. The baby isn't eating snacks and pooping in the same space like some chaotic tiny roommate sharing a studio apartment. It's floating in a sealed, self-cleaning, constantly monitored environment where the mother's body is quietly doing nearly all of the heavy lifting through one of the most underrated organs in human biology. Nature built a system so elegant it sounds fake when you say it out loud. The baby pees in the exact pool it's swimming in, and somehow, that's completely fine. Biology really said, trust the process. And honestly, it had a point.